If you had to start over from scratch with only a pen, a notebook, and your mind, could you do it? Could you take the knowledge and understanding that you've learned and be able to use it to create a plan to rebuild your life? What if there was an asset that you could own that never loses value? And the more time that you spend investing into it, the more the value will continue to increase exponentially. I've been asking myself this question. If every tool that I have, my phone, my camera, access to the internet, etc., if all of that was taken away from me and all I had left was what I knew in my mind, would I know what to do? Tony Stark said it a lot better. Tony was talking to Peter and asked him a simple but deep question. Who are you without the suit? And so I have to ask myself, am I who I am because of the tools that I have, or am I who I am because of the mental tool set that I have in my mind that allows me to use the physical tool sets in my life to the best of its ability? The knowledge that you have stored in your brain and the understanding of that knowledge are two of the most powerful tools that cannot be replaced. And so what is the greatest, most profitable asset that you can have in your life that will continue to grow in value the more you put time into it? And the answer is wisdom. Thousands of years ago, there was a king who asked God for an understanding mind so that he can discern between good and evil to best govern his people. Because God saw in this man a heart of humility who didn't ask for riches or honor, he gave him a discerning mind that was incomparable to anyone who had lived before or after him. God also gave the king both riches and honor so that no other king shall compare to him all of his days. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge and experience to make the best decisions and good judgment. If the king were to only have received riches and honor, he would be lacking the knowledge and understanding of how to use both of them in the best way. But since God made him the wisest man to ever live, the king was able to discern what was good and bad. You know, the scriptures tell us that money, you cannot trust it because you never know what might happen. But it's the wisdom that you know, the knowledge and understanding of something that cannot depreciate. So if all the money that you had in your life just went away, if you didn't have the knowledge and understanding of how to work to earn that back, then yeah, money doesn't do you any good. But if you do have the knowledge and understanding of how to use the tools that you have in your life to best grow something in your life, whatever that is, then yeah, you have the riches right here. It's your mind. It's the time that you spend learning about XYZ and finding out the best of how to use that to better your life. And not for selfish gain, but also in a sense of knowing how to best take care of yourself and others. Which that leads us back to the question I asked in the beginning. Could you take the knowledge and understanding that you've learned and be able to use it to create a plan to rebuild your life? Whatever your answer may be, let me tell you that wisdom is not just a maybe that will help your life. No, it's a promising yes. That if you have wisdom and you know how to use it, it's going to take care of you. Guarantee. First of all, I do not have all the answers. No way. I'm still learning so much myself every single day, and I have so much to learn. I myself am learning to rebuild my life as I make this video because I see there are two options. You will either build your life from someone else's blueprint, which could be good or bad, or you could build your own blueprint for your life using the wisdom from others and the wisdom that you are learning in your life. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 ways that wisdom can not only help rebuild your life, but it will be the most valuable, most profitable asset, and it will continue to grow every single day that you invest into it that will make your life better. And this leads me to story time. One time I worked for a summer camp during college as a videographer. I was their cameraman for a whole 2 months. And on our creative team, there was a guy who was the camp's previous year's cameraman. The difference between us was that he had a camera that was way nicer than mine, probably $1,000 to $2,000 in total. And the one I had was about $400. What I learned that summer is that the outcome of the camera shots, what I filmed, wasn't based on the price tag I had on my camera. It was how I used my camera to be able to get the best shots that I had. So whether or not my camera was $400 or $2,000, if I know how to use my camera to the best of its ability, then I could produce the best video. So number one, the first way to rebuild your life is to realize that knowledge is meaningless unless you have understanding. So start by learning what you need to do first. Second, understand what it means and put it into an action plan. The other night, my wife and I were talking about the American dream and how each of us, as we grew up, were taught it as if it was this ultimate goal for your life. And we both realized today that it's a bunch of baloney. And this, yes, it works for some, but how we were taught the American dream went a little like this. Study hard in school for 12 years so that you can go to college. Then study hard in college for 4+ years so that you get a good job to have a good life. But the truth of the American dream is that it didn't work out like that. You spend 16 years of your life studying for a big maybe. There's no promise that at the end of that 16-year journey of studying, trying to do the best you can to make the best grades, so that at the end of that journey, you can get a piece of paper that says, hey, now I deserve a job. What we saw is just because you have a diploma doesn't mean that you automatically get a job. Focus seems to be all about if you get the good job, you get a good life. And that's not true. The American dream is built on the foundation of a promising maybe. What we've learned is to build our foundation on the promising wisdom. Should you study hard? Yes. But why? Should you educate yourselves with knowledge and understanding? Yes. But why? So that you can use all of that, turn that into wisdom, and discern what is good and evil. But what does that mean? What does that look like? It means that if you store up in your mind knowledge and understanding of it, you will know how to make the best decisions for your life. What my wife and I have learned is that what if you build your skills so that whatever area you are in your life, you're able to use those skills to make a living or to make some money? What if along that path of the 16 years of studying, you yourself are getting your hands dirty, going out and actually doing work on the side? Like if you're going to be a gardener, you can't just study the book for 16 years. You actually have to go and do it. You actually have to go and till the dirt and plant the seeds and water it and come back and pull the weeds and continue to check on it so that you can reap a harvest. This leads me to number two. My wife and I also realize that it's the knowledge and understanding of your skill set that leads to a promising future. Whether you go to college or not, building your own skill set in whatever area that may be leads to a more promising future because you know this: the who, what, where, when, why, and how. You know who it works for, what works, where it works, when it works, why it works, and how it works. So for example, looking at my own life, I was introduced to a camera at age 7. The day that I graduated high school, literally the next day I filmed a wedding with my friend and I. And that carried on for another 10 years. This year will be 11. And that has allowed me to make money on the side that has helped us in so many situations. And because I've been working with the camera for so long, by the time that I went to college to further my education so that I could get a degree, a lot of the material in the classroom I had already done because I had more experience. That'll have to be another video. Growing my skills in film work from a kid to today has benefited me because I wasn't just waiting for something to happen. Which leads me to a quote from 1970. The author Suzanne Whittlesey wrote, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." You see, if the man doesn't learn how to fish, he'll be dependent on someone else to feed him. But if the man learns how to fish, not only can he feed himself, but the man can feed and teach someone else. I've learned that self-education has been a true key to rebuilding my life. I say that because as I've tried to study things for myself instead of just sitting in a classroom waiting for the professor or whoever teacher to tell me, hey, this is what you need to know, by asking hard questions and then looking for those answers, that path will lead you to such a richer life of wisdom because you're not relying on anyone else to tell you this is what you need to know or this is what you should ask. It's like, no, just take a step back and ask questions and then go find those answers. And then as you find them, you know, whatever it may be, if you put them into practice and they fail or they get better, you're learning the knowledge about it and understand it so that then you know how to best use it for good. So be curious about life. Ask questions because it's true that there are no stupid questions. What's truly silly is to not ask the questions. If you're wondering about something, it's more than 99% chance someone else in this life has thought about it too. The greatest asset that I've ever invested into is learning something new and how to apply it in the areas of my life, whether that be for faith, health, relationships, work, or skills, my mental health, my emotional health, personal development, and the list goes on. And so number 3, use wisdom to rebuild your life. Start with a vision, do your research, and use wise discernment to make good decisions. Stop letting the world tell you what it thinks you should do. Stop letting the world tell you what it thinks you should think. And stop letting the world tell you why it is what it is. Start asking your own questions. Start researching to find your own answers. And start making wise decisions from what you know and understand. Also, there will be a new Pocket Wisdom that is based on today's video, which is a new tool I've created to help remind you of the wisdom that you're learning. Check out the link below and click Pocket Wisdom. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.